about this weekend that's coming up, which historically is one of the most dangerous weekends in New York City and throughout the United States, and to talk about the killings that's been happening throughout New York City for the last couple of months. We're going to start the press conference off with Brother Terrell Murphy. Is someone?
Good morning. Today we stand here in unity and solidarity against gun violence. As you see, we're standing here with a whole bunch of different organizations all over the New York City. And the message that we're trying to give out is to please have a peaceful weekend. Usually there's a big spike in violence come Memorial Day weekend, where young people and all people in general come out. It's supposed to be a time to come out and have fun, and it's a time that, you know, people get into gripes and beefs, and there's a lot of killing. And since there's been a lot of senseless killing over the last couple of weeks, we're standing here in solidarity to speak out against the violence. So as we stand here in front of Chinx on Memorial, we're asking for all you young people out there to please just have fun this weekend, party, do it right, eat, and be merry, but be peaceful. And with that I say peace.
Always got to start with a moment of silence, because we mourn it every single day, and that's why we out here. We out here because we are tired of it, just like everybody else are. When I say we, I'm talking about the community, I'm talking about the people. And something has to change, and there's people that stand here with us who are advocating for that change. We're not just talking about it, we live in this lifestyle. We out here doing everything that we have to do. So us coming out here, we're not just talking about what we want. We're out here to support y'all and doing the necessary things to stay away from these violent weekends, man. These violence that's happening in our communities every single day. We are tired of it. We're not just talking about victims. We're not just talking about families. We're talking about people who come from the life. I come from the streets. We're talking about everybody who understands that too many lives are being lost by senseless gunfire. It's senseless. It makes no sense. So as we come out here today and stand and think about a young talent whose life was senselessly taken away for whatever the reasons are. We say there's always another alternative than running to that gun. There's always another alternative. There's somebody out here who got a voice to start talking to them. You out there and you drinking and you enjoying the Memorial weekend, talk to somebody about something when they talking about doing something stupid. This is all we here to say. We ain't tell you how to live, we tell you do something different. Doing something different is being the motivator and not the instigator in our communities. And we out here paying attention to those voices, we're paying attention to the people who are doing wrong and the people who are doing right. Help us help you. We have resources coming to all our communities. You on the ground giving the things that you need. So don't tell us that you ain't got the help. So we ask for the community to step up and support us as we do our job. We don't want the numbers saying this many people died this week. We want them to be upset because that many people, nobody died. For the ones who don't want the murders to stop. That's what we want them to see. Oh man, they can help our communities. And we ask y'all to stand in solidarity with us in your own separate ways to help us while we do our job out here in these streets. With that, I'm gone. Peace.
Peace.
So we're coming together under the title of No Shooting NYC. We're not representing any organization this weekend with this call. But I want to acknowledge the organizations that are out here. We have Kevin Livingston from 100 Suits. We have Lance Furtado from King of Kings. Mr. Hogan from the Baisley Houses. We have Rock Safe Streets from Far Rockaway. We have Justice League, Tamika Mallory. A.T. Mitchell from Man Up. Shani Johnson, who is a mother who not only lost their son, but started an organization from that called Life Support. We have GMAC, we have Life Camp, we have Guns Down, Life Up, and several other organizations that could not make it here today. As I stated before, and I'm reading this because I don't want to miss someone's name, but this brother Lionel Pickens, who was killed here in a senseless kind of way, we stand here as using him as a symbol to say that it is our responsibility to bring safe streets to our communities. So when we say No Shooting NYC, we're not saying that we need more police on the streets. We're not saying that we need stop and frisk. We don't need broken windows. We need men and women of our community, young children of our community, to stand up and protect and save our community. When you see something happening, stop it from happening. When you see something getting ready to come into being, put the fire out before it takes a life, before it causes someone to go into the prison industrial complex. When you see people arguing with each other, when you see your son or daughter come home and they're angry or they're talking about a fight that they had, give them some extra love and attention. Keep them in the house. Do what you have to do to keep your child or your loved one alive. This weekend has historically been a dangerous weekend for all of our families. And what we're saying is that we can make peace real this weekend in our community. So in the spirit of this brother, in the spirit of, as we just celebrated this weekend, Kevin Miller Jr., 13 years old, who was gunned down by a stray bullet, 14-year-old Deasia Robinson, who was gunned down on a bus by a stray bullet, the police officer Brian Moore, 25, who was also gunned down in Queens, 71-year-old Lydia Webb, who was also gunned down in Queens, 40-year-old Sharif Clayton, who was gunned down at a funeral in Brooklyn, that their lives value. Their lives are just as valuable as every man and woman in this community, as every man and woman in this world. And when we start to protect ourselves and live as one unit, then we change the climate of what exists. Mayor Bloomberg, Mayor de Blasio came into office talking about one city and making this one city. The way that we make this one city is we stand together and love our children and invest in our children as one city. So what we're saying is that these brothers and sisters work hard every day to reduce violence in our streets. Work hard every day, 24 hours a day, to stop the violence in our community. Invest in these brothers and sisters. Support these brothers and sisters. Do not create bureaucracies that keep these brothers and sisters from doing their work. But most all, listen to your children. Support your children and be there to give love when they are in pain and in fear and in danger of their own lives. We thank you, and we hope that we all come out this weekend and have a safe and fun weekend. Thank you all.
Got it all, big guy. I'm not going to charge you for that. That was 2 directives on that.
You're listening to
machine in place to try to look at ways to say that the work that we do as a collective is not valuable and that it's not working. Mayor Bloomberg was very, very specific in saying while he was in office that what we're doing doesn't work. That he couldn't find any place around the country where giving money to grassroots organizations would help to decrease violence. But we know that that is not in fact true, and we also understand that, what is it, $8 million or $5 million? Now, right, that's not even close to enough to be able to do the work. So we really need $50, $100, $200 million to be able to do our work. Why am I saying that? Because just sort of reading and watching the narrative that's coming out. I've been watching the Sunday morning shows where they're talking about the fact that we got rid of stop and frisk. This has started to happen. We have to keep broken windows. We know that these are things that antagonize young people in our communities and keep the violence and other activities happening. And we don't want to see that happen. So what we thought was coming together over a particular weekend and being able to count and really point to the fact that we were able to impact our community is one of the things that we will be able to use. When they start spinning their cycle, we have our own cycle to spin back. Over Memorial Weekend, we called for New York no shooting, and we were able to reduce the amount of the numbers from the previous years, and in certain pockets in the city where it was expected that there would be a lot of violence, there was not. That is the goal. The goal is for us to be able to show that our unified voice is necessary, and that without this body, without the groups that are here and the ones that we work with, what they claim they want to do cannot happen. that without us, it is impossible. So we know already that people are working. The point is for us to be able to find spaces where we can work together and show that we are a collective body. So with that being said, everybody has the social media image. We want people to spread the message. Spread the letter, the information you were send it out. I'll resend something today that removes the press conference information, but just talks about what New York No Shooting NYC is all about. You can spread it, send it out to your local clergy folks, all your volunteers and people that are on your list. Today is when you want to tell them this weekend when they say, how can I help you? This is how you can help us. To go out, we're not asking you to go out and start fights and think that you know what to do, but let's engage our young people in parks and other places. The other big thing is our presence on social media is going to be key. We need to take pictures, even if you don't have a major social media presence. Still, we need to take pictures of our activities, not necessarily when you're engaging with any particular person, but when you get dressed and your group gets together and meets at a corner, that picture is necessary because we want to create our own narrative. So let's not forget that we have to ensure that we show the presence that we were able to put together on the ground in our communities. The last thing is sharing information about where people will be. So we're on a text group. We also have our email chain. Let's talk about where we are going to be meeting up. What are the hot spots? What are some of the areas where we know people need to come together and where exactly, do people need services? So if you feel like everybody in your community is out of town this weekend and you need some extra support, we need to pour that information in so we can get other people to come out. This may seem like a small thing to some people, but I know from the feedback that we've been receiving that it is not. It is a huge, huge deal to be able to show that we're unified. When the police turn their backs on Mayor de Blasio, you begin to see that the mayor's attitude shifted towards supporting the police.
I agree.
There is power in the numbers of people who are unified. All of our personal stuff that we got going on does not matter, because what's going to happen is they will use that to attack the budget, to attack the support, and begin to take things out of our community. So instead of us having an argument about needing more, we're going to be arguing about keeping just what we have. And I'm saying we, which I have none of it, but some of y'all just give me $5 each before we leave.
Right now.
But we love everybody that's here. Let's really try to make this a concerted effort. And anybody that wants to step to the middle and talk about this, please do so.
I want to just add that in addition to what was said, my brother AT from Man Up, just also be safe. I don't want it sometimes, to be irresponsible of us to not put out the fact that this is a real high level of danger. This is a very dangerous line of work that we're talking about. And it's not really for everybody, but then there's a place and a role for somebody to play. But in the way of which we're talking about some of the training that a lot of us have received around this circle, a lot of others have not received the same training. So how to engage these sort of matters, sometimes it's very delicate, it's really more sophisticated than what meets the eye. But I just want to raise the point that it's a real dangerous weekend. This is, like has been mentioned, this weekend is one of those weekends throughout the city that normally it goes whoa. But I believe, it's like Erica said, if we can get in front of it as much as we possibly can, a lot of this is talking people down and maybe making people feel more comfortable about a situation because they may be intoxicated, they may have been drinking or whatever. So, we got to learn how to communicate with people more effectively and not exacerbate a situation, and staying professional, while you're doing so. Two wrongs don't make a right. Two angry people only make more anger. So just be careful out there this weekend. That's all I really want to say, because I know that, approaching somebody that's angry or somebody that's high at the same time is even more dangerous. And if they got a weapon, that adds more danger to it. So just be real careful this weekend. We don't want to hear about anybody that's working, the work that we do in this circle get hurt this weekend. We want to make sure that, more importantly, that we make it home as well and know how to sometimes step back, from a situation We don't need any superheroes. We don't need anybody to do any vigilante work. We don't need nobody stepping in front of anybody's, sort of ongoing things. If you're not trained to do so. The key word is if you're not trained to do so. So I just want to put that out there as well.
So I just think the comments that you just made are very key for everybody who's here who really, really does do the work. But I think if you get a call from somebody in your community who's saying, I want to be helpful this weekend, the types of things, they need to be trained as well. And I think some of what is important is people really underestimate what a nice, kind, hello, how you doing, just having presence in the community means. So I don't think that we should encourage people who've never done this work, haven't been trained, to go out and try to get in the middle of fire play between two people. But instead, their presence of just going out and speaking to people, being kind, being nice, and saying, listen, maybe you can follow up with Life Camp or follow up with any one of the groups, Life Support. I have their information. Here's some cards. Here's some information about services that you can get in your community. So that's the type of stuff that I would tell volunteers. Not to go out and think that they're Hercules, but to go out and just be kind and be nice and bring a sense of warmth to the community over the weekend.
In terms of when the holidays come and we have the cookouts and the barbecues, people, especially the parents, we tend to get relaxed. And so we also would like to urge parents, like I was saying on the press conference, to really know where your children are. Because you're kind of chilling, you party at a barbecue, and your teenager could be God knows where, doing what. Some more accountability. We can encourage parents to have more accountability for your children on that day. I mean, we just got to do that extra. That's just the kind of world. I know you party and chilling at a barbecue, but 9, 10 o'clock, find out, even before then, find out what your 15, 16-year-old is doing.
We can't come by ourselves to these situations because perception, unfortunately, is reality for too many people. And we gotta support our people. We gotta be there to say, we gotta treat every life like they value. So we gotta show up and do these press conferences, whether it's just us, and let the world begin to know that we support our people. And we're serious about the work that we do. And change the paradigm and change the narrative of how we respond to this stuff.
Yeah, I want to say that I agree with, and at this point we have to realize that we're not in competition with each other.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
That's what they want us to feel. That's what they want us to, how they want us to respond.
That's right.
We're not. Right? And that's how we have to move as such.
Yes.
Right? Because every one of your failures is our failure.
Yes.
Right? Every one of our strengths is your strength.
Right.
So we have to realize that. When Tamika said earlier, we've paid attention to the shift in the mayor when they did that, what they did. I have my own conspiracy theories, on that hit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Huh? Yeah, I'm just saying that, whatever. But that's my point. Right? But the turn in the back, they did everything they did to get him to shift, right? And to try to make it seem that what we're doing don't make sense, like they said. But we know it makes sense. Right? And I'm going to give an example. Just yesterday, I wasn't even in the office, but my guy was in the office. And there's a McDonald's right across the street from us. And about 30 young boys was about to go down to McDonald's. And the homies ran over there, broke that up. They left. They settled right there. They tell you right now. And that was dispersed. Right? We could have had another something YouTube to put on another McDonald's fight. Which shows these things are not always important because we know we're doing the work. Right? But this is what we're saying. Getting involved in something is what we need to do. We can't just sit here and run around talking about we doing this for the cameras. We know we don't. They think we do. Because they do a lot of shit for the cameras. We know we on the field. So we got to be there. When somebody call, we coming. And it's the same difference. That's how it has to be. If you need to show support and know there's other people out here with you, that's what we're here to do. Right? And I don't care if your funding source ain't my funding source. I don't care if your donation pot ain't my donation pot. It doesn't matter. We talking about gun violence. We talking about our communities, and we in this together. And we got to understand, put all the bullshit aside. And I said, some of us don't have that. We on good levels. Right? We know that. But we talking about the others that's going to start coming to understand that we know what we talking about. We know what needs to be done. And we're on the front lines. So we need to be reminded of that. And like she said, don't just say I'm coming and I just come trooping with myself and my guys is unaccounted for. It's not good.
Just wanted to say, Rosalind from Rock Safe Streets. I gave everybody a card. I might not have everybody information, but we're going to be working a little extra hard this week because Chinx was from Rockaway originally. And as we know, 3 people already got arrested in for Rockaway. So with that being said, we just going to really work hard this weekend to try to make sure that nothing happens, but it is what it is. I might need to, call on some of y'all.
Everybody on one accord?
Well, we're trying to be there. Being on one accord.
It's worthless that we do anything if we're not on one accord. All the words, all the well-wishing, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So if we're not on one accord, we can't do nothing. So right now, your heart and your mind should be racing, wondering what's going on in the middle, because that's one accord. My heart and mind is racing, because I'm wondering what's going on in the middle. All right? Because I am not the author of this, I am just the messenger. And like my sister said, we ought to, and it was just a reminder, we ought to pray before we do anything. That we be on one accord, that we may be conquerors. So right quick, we're just going to say the Lord's Prayer. We're not going to get in front of anyone else's prayer. We're not going to get behind nobody else's prayer. And to whatever God that made you, may He continue to bless you. I'm not telling you what to do, how to do, when to do. We're just saying right now, this is what we're going to do. We know that this works. We bow our heads and we'll say the Lord's Prayer together. Is that all right?
All right.
Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
Man, we can't speak for one another. We can't speak at all. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Am I my brother's keeper?
Yes, I am.
Amen. All right, all right. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And give us our debt. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from all evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. And remember, on your way, obedience is better than sacrifice. If you don't have to sacrifice, just be obedient to that who have ruled over you. And you will be successful, because success is already laid in front of you. You're just following the path. Bless you.
Everport Life Camp Incorporated.
My name is Tamika Mallory. I represent several organizations, but particularly today I'm out representing the Justice League NYC, which is an organization that does criminal justice.